Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending my presentation on capacity development approach for utilizing Earth observation data in Hindu Kush Himalayan region. I am Rajesh Bahadur Thapa, working at ICIMOD as a remote sensing and geoinformation specialist. I lead capacity development program of Surveyor HKH initiative. ICIMOD is an intergovernmental knowledge and learning center that develops and shares research, information, and innovation to empower people in the 8 regional member countries of the Hindu Kush Himalaya, including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan. ICIMOD is a participating organization of GEO and actively promoting Himalayan Geo, the task number 9 of AOGEO. With the core spirit of GEO as we are empowering people to use emerging Earth observation data and geospatial technology for making evidence-based decisions to protect the pulse of the planet. Hindu Kush Himalayan region represents the most diverse area covering the highest mountain range in the world, where combining Earth observation data with the emerging geospatial information technology help accessing the remote region and offer feasible ways to address the regional critical data and information gap. We identified a serious capacity gap and shortfall of professionals and trained specialists working in Earth observation and GIT field. Although the significant role of gender in the development of gender-responsive policy agendas and decisions is well recognized, the involvement of women in the Earth observation and GIT field is lacking. The progressive development of the technology demands continuous support by building capacity through education, training, and developing more professionals and specialists. For this purpose, a strategic framework is required to meet the challenges of providing a well-trained workforce while also encouraging those trained professionals to apply such knowledge in their workplace and society in general. In this context, the Surveyor HKH initiative at ICIMOD is working on bridging these gaps and try to tap the opportunities for connecting space to village, closely aligning with Himalayan geo activities. As strategic and systematic capacity building pathways that effectively strengthen the capacity of individuals and institutions in the region is a prerequisite, in this presentation, I would like to share the capacity building approach, impact pathways, and application designed to empower decision makers and relevant practitioners by providing them with geospatial data, tools, products, and services in order to act locally on climatic sensitive issues such as disaster, agriculture, food security, water, land use, and ecosystems in Hindu Kush Himalayan region. The process of capacity building is iterative that involves the design, application, knowledge, and modification. Based on the situation analysis of Hindu Kush Himalayan region and the lesson learned, the ADIM approach was developed, which is presented in the left figure. It consists of 4 elements of capacity building represented by each letter of ADIM, where A meant for assessment, D for design, I for implementation, and M for monitoring and evaluation. The figure in the right shows the capacity building pathways guided by approach. Let me elaborate these 4 elements of ADIM. The ADIM approach starts with the need assessment. Assessments of individual as well as institutional capacities were conducted in multiple consultation workshops in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Nepal to identify gaps, needs, and priorities, and the current capacities in each country. These gaps and needs were subsequently grouped into 4 major thematic areas of survey, that is agriculture and food security, land use, land cover and ecosystem, water resource and hydroclimatic disaster, and weather and climate services. This assessment process played a significant role in promoting active user engagement, ongoing partnership, and identifying the areas of more engagement, along with serving as an input for our capacity development pathways. After the assessment process, the approach moves to design process, where we closely work with thematic subject matter experts to design the curriculum based on the training proposal that incorporate learning objectives, expected outcomes, target audience, and daily agenda. Development of various theory and practical materials, including training modules, manuals, reading materials, hands-on exercise, and PPTs, were considered at this step. To strengthen the individual and institutional capacity at national and regional level, we identified 4 major types of capacity building activities, including on-the-job training, standard training, training of trainers, and exposure learning. The on-the-job training and the training of trainers were considered as institutional capacity building activities, and the other 2 were considered as individual capacity building activities. The implementation part of ADIM approach refers to the execution of the capacity building designs according to the 4 major types of activities that I have discussed already. So the participants were grouped into 3 categories as policy and decision makers, technical professionals, and youth, as they need different types of trainings. Various national and regional level activities were implemented by a joint collaboration with local institutes of partner countries. The participants' selection was based on either nomination process, open call process, or both. Specific training targeting the youth or early career professional and women-oriented training were also organized to improve gender balance and increase women participants. The 4th element of ADIM approach is monitoring and evaluation that help us to improve performance, achieve better results, ensure quality and relevance of capacity building efforts. The structured pre- and post-assessment tools were developed and used for each type of capacity building activity, except for the exposure learning type, in order to monitor a participant's expectation, his or her progress in understanding the content, and to get feedback for continuous improvement. The figure presents impact pathway of capacity building result framework following the ADIM approach. Mapping the impact of capacity building activities is a key indicator of successful implementation. In the map, capacity built in both individual as well as institutional landscapes is highlighted. When the enhanced capacity used by the individual or institutions, there will be a great impact on various paths such as innovation, work efficiency, effectiveness, practices, and quality, which will ultimately bring transformative change to performance and service delivery and push forward to scale out or scale up of capacity building activity in the region. In this slide, the table shows a result of capacity building needs and priorities from country consultation workshop conducted during 2015 and 16. Although 4 country consultation workshops, 1 for each country, including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan, were conducted for identifying gaps, needs, priorities, and the capabilities of organizations, communities, and individuals. Participants from the relevant organization, universities, research institute, bilateral and multilateral organizations were attended these workshops. As shown in the table, different capacity building needs and priorities were identified. Some of them were common for multiple countries, while some fit to a single country. So the needs and priorities were categorized by 4 thematic areas of survey, including agriculture and food security, water resource and hydroclimatic disaster, land use, land cover and ecosystem, and weather and climate service. In addition, cross-cutting areas of capacity building intersecting the all thematic areas or multiple thematic areas were also identified. This slide presents the capacity building activities design results, which includes content, type of capacity building activity, and materials during the survey year 2015 to 18. During the period, we developed 5 modules for agriculture and food security thematic area, 6 modules for water resource and hydroclimatic disaster thematic area, 6 for land use, land cover and ecosystem thematic area, 1 for weather and climatic service thematic area, and 8 for cross-cutting thematic areas. Most of the modules were supported by PPT, hands-on tutorials. In addition, some activity were also supported by comprehensive book and manuals. Here the table and the representative photographs presents the capacity building activity implementation. In the last 3 years, we organized 39 capacity building events covering different thematic areas and served thousands of participants from 213 unique institutions where we were able to maintain 35% of women participants. This slide shows an overview of the capacity building activity implementation results by type in the left table and by country in the right table. Most of the training events were standard training, which serves higher number of people and institutions comparing to other type of activities. And interesting figures on women participation in different capacity building activities, such as 34% participants in standard training and 44% for exposure learning can be observed. The countrywide data shows that there were participants from all regional member countries of ICIMOD and the other continents. It also provides which country needs more effort to bring more women in capacity building activity, such as Nepal achieved 50% of women participation in capacity building activities, while the number of women participants is nearly 13% in Afghanistan. We conducted pre and post assessment of each type of capacity building activity except for exposure learning visit. The pre-assessment provides guidelines about the participants' awareness and expectation about the capacity building content, while the post-assessment provides the level of knowledge acquisition by the participants and feedback for the purpose of improvement. In this presentation, a standard training served for mapping of forest degradation and deforestation, one of the 39 capacity building activities, is selected as a representative of pre and post-assessment monitoring and evaluation result. The figure shows that participants' gender structure, level of experience on remote sensing techniques, awareness of remote sensing and GIS related software, and level of experience on the use of SAR data and GIS application. This provides an opportunity to the resource persons for revisiting their materials during the training and delivery. Continuing to the previous slide, this table shows the post-assessment result. It includes participants' response to the technical capacity building support, which ranges from content presentation, interaction from the resource person, and expectation fulfillment of the participants, and the quality of other logistical supports. The table also highlights whether their capacity increased or not due to this activity. This kind of information really helps us to build our confidence and identify the areas of weakness for improving other capacity building activities and the service further. In conclusion, the ADM approach is simple and was able to cater the needs in the region. The approach identified gaps and needs, designed efficient capacity building activities, implemented the plans to achieve impact, and monitoring the delivery result. Our approach promoted gender, adopted frontier technology, engaged subject matter expert, and provided sustainable solution focused on partners' priorities. This should strengthen the ability of government and development stakeholders in the region to sustain the program. The on-the-job training and training of trainers type of capacity building activities played a very important role in institutional capacity building. The standard type of activities were powerful in building individual capacity and improving the gender balance in the technical professional workforce. The exposure learning visit brought young people together and provided a competitive environment of learning wherein they gain and share knowledge among themselves and others. Despite the challenges, the approach was able to provide capacity building services to large number of unique organizations and communities worldwide. This work reveals several opportunities that arise from capacity building activities, from socio-cultural experiential learning to the use of frontier technology. In addition, our effort in the region helped promoting the Himalayan geo activities in capacity strengthening to utilize the Earth observation data. As a way forward, I would like to mention that regular organizational capacity assessment and tracer surveys are necessary to monitor the periodic impact of the capacity building efforts with feedback mechanism for effective capacity building delivery as needs and priorities often change over time. Thank you very much.